Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and I'm gonna go ahead let y'all know I got the last of my drink. I done had like 3 of these. It's melting, but yeah, it's still my frozen peach and white peach and mango margarita. And I'm not drunk, not tipsy, never have been in my life, never plan to get that way. I don't see the point in doing that. I don't like to throw up or get nauseous at all. I have enough of that happens on my own, which is a part of what this video is going to be about. So, disclaimer, I know that I have a lot of males who subscribe to my channel. I appreciate everybody's support, but y'all might want to sit this one out because a lot of heavy stuff is going to be discussed. Y'all might be looking like, dang, she got a lot going on, which I do, but you know, it's a lot. Might be a couple of ladies that want to do the same. So I'm just letting y'all know now, it ain't gonna be pretty. So we go ahead and jump into this. So the reason why things are always off with me is because of my menstrual cycle. As I've mentioned to y'all before, in my first rape video, my menstrual cycle started not long after I got raped for the first time. I initially thought that it had something to do with when that actually happened to me, but then I later on found out after my mother had to explain to me after finding my bloody underwear that I was hiding under my bed that it was my menstrual cycle and it was a part of life. I could now bear children, all that stuff, right? So, I flow really, really heavy. I always have. And between the age of 9 and now, the only major difference that I have seen is that my cycle has done something really way out of the ordinary, like twice within the past 2 years. And that is, it came on 3 times within 40 days. And when I say 3 times within 40 days, I'm talking about like the whole cycle, not like, oh, it came on 3 days and that was it. Then it came on again for a couple of days. Like, no, it was literally whole week, whole week, whole week. Some of those times, like one of the times, it was like 8 days. The other time was like 7. And then like I'm saying, it was a whole time. Mine is not the 3-day, 1 day and all that. Mine normally does 5 to 7 whole days at minimum. So yeah, it's a lot and it's annoying. But when that happened to me the first time, when the second time it came, I was like, oh, okay, because I have irregular menstrual cycles anyway. So that happens from time to time. So I wasn't alarmed at all. But then it came on a third time and I was like, wait a minute, okay, something ain't right. And it really scared me. And I said, if it come on again, like within like the next like 2 weeks or something, I'm gonna have to go to the emergency room because as y'all know, I don't have insurance currently. I will be getting it whenever I get a really good job again, y'all. So don't cry for me, Argentina. But yeah, y'all, it's a lot. 3 times I flow really, really heavy. A lot comes out of me. There are times that I'll feel that it's because I use tampons. I don't do pads. I started out with pads and it got to the point where it would just spill over and mess my clothes up, whether I was wearing black pants or not. And it was just too much. Panties were messed up. Pants were messed up. All on my legs and stuff. Like it was just, when I tell y'all, I hated when my period would come on and it would be at its heaviest when I was in school, especially when I was like in elementary and all that stuff. Because like I said, it started when I was 9 years old. So I'm in elementary school and stuff like this is happening and I have to try to be excused to go to the bathroom outside the times that they would allow us to go. So my mama had to get a doctor's note and have it sent to my school because they had allotted times where our teachers would take us to the bathroom at my elementary school that I went to. So yeah, I basically was granted permission to go whenever I needed to go, whether my menstrual cycle was on or not, y'all. So it was a lot. It was embarrassing at first, especially when I had pads, because I had to have the ones that, you know, would absorb the most. And then some of the disgusting stuff is, you know, I would literally go to the bathroom and be like, oh, I need to change my tampon, pad, whatever. Now it's strictly just tampon. Oh, I gotta go change my tampon. Y'all, I could take the tampon out, it'll be completely filled, and then some, and then I'm ready to put another one in. There have been times that I have done everything I needed to do. Take it out, pee. Like, I'm the type of person that, I don't know what it is, that even if I just went, like if I have some of those days where it's so bad and so heavy that I'll bleed out, and within 20-30 minutes I have to change my tampon again, I'll go in there ready to do that. I'll have to pee a little bit, whatever, wipe, and I'll be wiping. And I have a habit now, because I've had so many things to happen to me as a child that I always have to look at something to discern whether or not I need to tell an adult, because I might need to go to the hospital. I might need to go to the doctor. Like, that's how crazy it is. Y'all, the weather is ignorant, y'all. I don't even understand. I told y'all earlier I was getting off of here because the weather was crazy, and it is. Like, and then like over here, the sun is trying to do the most. I don't understand. But anyway. Y'all, I got to the point where I would look at what the liquid looked like that would come out of me. I don't think I mentioned this before, and I might end up going into detail later on. When I was younger, I had to have a surgery. My parents actually thought I had been raped before I had actually gotten raped. When I was a little child, I was like maybe 6 years old then. But yeah, my mother saw my panties and she thought that somebody had done something to me, and she kind of tried to ask, but I'm looking at her like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so they ended up taking me somewhere. Y'all, it was so traumatic. I was wide awake. I was taken to the hospital. They went on the inside of me, and what I'm thinking happened back then, because I never talked to my mother about it, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I was a little girl, y'all. I thought that I was going to church because they put on one of my church dresses. I'm dressed up, and my mom and my daddy, we go, and I'm like, oh, we passing the church. The church is literally 2 minutes from our house. I'm like, oh, we must be going to visit somebody else's church. Oh, okay. Y'all, little did I know we were going to the hospital. So we pull up, and I knew what it was, even though I was young. I'm like, okay, what are we going to the hospital for? Because I'm not here for no hospitals or doctors. Like, normally I'm never sick. I'm almost never sick, y'all. So for me, I'm looking like, what are we going to the hospital for? I think we're finna visit somebody by now. Y'all, they checked us in and all this stuff. They end up having a nurse come with a little red wagon and put me in it. And we went into an elevator, and somehow I remember it fast forwarding to me being in a room surrounded by a group of people. Like, if you saw Grey's Anatomy, how they had like a group of people in a room where they're going to perform surgery, there were a group of like doctors and nurses and all the other people that are part of the team surrounding my bed. And it told me, you know, they were talking to me like I'm a kid, like, all right, sweetheart, you need to lay down. No, y'all. So I'm petrified at this point. I'm looking like, what? And like, my mama was in the room. I think my daddy wasn't. And if he was, he had his head turned. Because, you know, why would my daddy want to see something like that? Because they had me bust wide open, y'all. Had me spread eagle, right? So all I remember is them putting something up inside of me. And it felt like they were cutting me and digging around inside of me, and like I'm yelling and screaming, and they were like, baby, we're almost finished. So what I'm gathering is that a biopsy was done. of some sort. I don't know. Because of this whatever liquid that was coming out of me. It was abnormal liquid or something. And so I don't know if they were trying to see if I had cancer then or what. But yeah. It's crazy because I ended up having cancer later on in life. So that was very interesting. But y'all, that was one of the most traumatizing things that ever happened to me, and I was completely awake. There was no anesthesia. And when I tell y'all, I was so mad. I was so mad. I think I kind of blacked out. But yeah, at one point, because eventually got to a point we finally left the hospital because it was like outpatient, y'all. I cannot. Like, I felt betrayed just like I felt betrayed before when I had to get like this hernia surgery when I was younger. And my favorite TV show was Scooby-Doo. And my parents tried to bribe me, y'all. I would not eat. All I would do was watch Scooby-Doo. So they actually took the TV out of the living room and they put it into my room. Y'all excuse the people. And I would watch Scooby-Doo all day, all night. And they kept trying to bribe me. I would not talk to them. It got so bad they went to the doctor and they spoke one-on-one with them, trying to figure out what was wrong with me and why I wouldn't eat. And come to find out, they were like, look, pretty sure she's mad with y'all because y'all had her have this surgery. And that's exactly what it was. Y'all, I was a child, like for real. But yeah, y'all. All this stuff I'm telling y'all ties in, but yeah. So anyway, I flow really, really heavy. Y'all know there are all kinds of medical terms for all of that. I'm not going into all of that. I'm trying to say everything in layman's terms for the most part. But like I said, when it happened 3 times within 40 days, that scared me so bad. Like, it scared me so bad. There were people who I thought didn't even care. They were even telling me like, you might need to go get that checked out. And I'm like, what? Like, you scaring me now. Like, I was just a little bit scared, but you even making me scared. So yeah, y'all, it was a lot. I just wish that menopause would hurry up and come on, because my mama had, she'd gone through menopause early. I am so excited for that to come. My mama and my sister's menstrual cycles both started when they were 8 years old, and mine started when I was 9. So I'm just hopeful that mine is going off soon. I'm not having any kids, so I don't even care. I'm just like, okay, come on now. Just go off forever. I'm tired in my spirit. Y'all, and then I'm already anemic, so that makes things worse, believe it or not. Like, I've done a lot of research because I've been trying to figure out what I can do to lessen the flow and what I can do anyway in general for my anemia. And it just so happens to be a symptom of my menstrual cycle, the way it's going. The fact that I have anemia is one of the different symptoms of what is going on with me having a heavy flow. We did go to the doctor when I was young, and they addressed all that. They were like, there's nothing you can do. They didn't say anything about me having fibroids or any of that. I don't know if now that I'm adult, I might have some. I know a lot of my other family members have them, but I mean, for me, the flow and all that stuff, as heavy as it's been like that my whole life. So that was never anything that was an alarming type of thing for me. I'm not worried about that at all. The frequency, and sometimes it lasts like 2 weeks, and sometimes it'll try me and it'll be like, ooh, you on. It'll make me think that it's on, right? It will be on. It'll come on, be like drip drop, and then it'll go off. And then it'll come on again and it'll go off. And I mean, it really would still be within that same cycle. And I'm like, if you don't come all the way on and go all the way off so I can be done with this, I'm tired. Like, but there are times that I'm so tired of seeing tampons. By the time my menstrual cycle finally go off, y'all, I be so tired. I be like, my vagina is tired. I'm tired of looking at these. Like, this don't make no sense. Like, for real. So exhausted. Lord. So, a video that I did a while back was about detox tampons. They call them herbal tampons, detox pearls, herbal tampons, all that stuff. I noticed how when I used it, it actually worked. Y'all, I was so excited. I don't know if y'all saw that video, but yes, I was so excited for that video because all the research that I'd done on that, it's funny because I initially done that research for my sister because she goes through a whole lot, had been going through a whole lot. Actually, you know, pretty worse than me as far as her flow is concerned. I'm not gonna go all the way into that, but yeah, just know that she goes through a whole lot. And I initially in like 2008, maybe even earlier than that, I kept trying to figure out something that could be done that we as a family could avoid her having to go through any type of surgery. So then I ended up revisiting it again, like a couple of times after that. And then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, maybe I can use this for myself, because a lot of people have reported that, you know, some things that actually makes their period as crazy and cramp as bad, it doesn't happen as much after they've used the detox pearls, herbal tampons, whatever you want to call them. So I was like, wait a minute, well, let me see if any of that works for me. And all the stuff that come out of them, I was like, man, if that worked for me, I might shed a tear, like for real. Maybe that'll help me. Y'all, so like I said, I did a video on it. And after I did that video, I waited until my menstrual cycle went off, of course. And when I knew it was all the way off, like a whole day after it was off, I went and I did 3. I put like 2 or 3 in, and I let them stay for however long I said I was gonna let them stay. At first, I didn't think they were gonna work, and so I ended up taking them out like a couple of days before I was going to take them out, because it's supposed to do so many things, y'all. I ain't even gonna go into that on that video, but yeah, y'all look up detox pearls, herbal tampons. You will see what I'm talking about. And you can find a lot of YouTube videos outside of mine that tell you what their results are and show you pictures. That stuff is nasty looking, but that stuff really works, and it happened to me too. The stuff came out. So anyway, they did it. I did it, and some stuff came out. I actually forced some stuff out because these other people, they'll use the bathroom and wipe, and then they'll get it on their tissue. And so me, I kept wiping. I'm like, dang, maybe this didn't work. So I was like, well, I'm gonna make sure all this residue from this pearl is out of me. So I used a reusable syringe, as they call it, which is basically like the little thing that they use for Summer's Eve. But I have one. My doctor told me a long time ago that you can douche or whatever, as long as you aren't overdoing it and all this other stuff. Like it was some interesting stuff that I was told. But whenever, because my flow is so heavy, they told me that it was fine for me to do it, to get any little extra pieces that might still be up in there from the clotting, you know, from stuff that shed during my menstrual cycle. So yeah, that was the only time I really would use it, whenever I felt like it was the worst. So when I did it, like I said, nothing came out at first. So I was like, let me get the rest of this stuff out of me. Y'all, I used that with just water, clear, warm water. And I like dished myself out once, I think, and nothing came out. So then I did it one more time, and all kinds of stuff came out, and I was just like, y'all do not understand. I was screaming so loud on the inside that I thought I was screaming for real. Like it was, y'all, I have the little pictures. I still have the pictures, I think, somewhere. But I did show pictures somewhat on my video. But yeah, y'all, when that happened, my period came on next time or whatever, right? My period did the absolute most. Like, it was so crazy. I was like, wait a minute. Like, it came on pretty quick or something. Then it came on again. I was like, what in the world? Someone was like, you know what might have thrown it off was when you used those things that you was telling me about. I was like, you know what? You're right. Because I had kind of gotten my body used to how my flow was, even though it still does the most, it's still irregular, but I had gotten my body used to some stuff. And my body set it all the way off the next time to 2 times afterwards. So yeah, y'all, it did the most. But anyway, y'all, most of the time I just feel so super drained. Like I literally could be off work and it's on, not work, not move, not done nothing, and I would be so drained. Like I just ran a marathon and ain't ate and all this other. Like I don't be here for nothing. And then when the pain come in, y'all, something my sister used to always say that I say now that we've been saying since we were kids, because the pain was so much. We'll say something about how we would wish somebody would throw us through a stained glass window. Now, if you don't know what a stained glass window is and how thick that is, in order for somebody to throw you through it, the pain that you should be able to feel, that's letting you know that the pain that you would feel from that will be way less than the pain that you feel because of what's going on with your menstrual cycle. Like that's how much pain that she and I have been through dealing with our situations. So yeah, y'all, it was just a whole lot. I really do not like taking pain medication. The only time I take it is when it's so bad that I am this close to dropping to my knees and crawling. I remember one night, actually, in the middle of the night when I was still living at home, my period pain was so bad. I was cramping so bad to the point of where I literally had no choice but to drop to my knees. I rolled out of bed, dropped to my knees, and was crawling up the hall. Randomly, my mama was up in the living room. And she was like, what's wrong with you? I barely could even tell her that I was in pain. So she had to get the medicine for me and everything. Like, y'all, it was too much. And my doctors always told me, look, if you ever want to take any medicine and it's nothing that we prescribe you, because of your pain tolerance, you can take like way more than what you're supposed to. And for me, I read labels. I ain't got time. So I always read that part where it was talking about the lining of your stomach and all that stuff. I was like, oh no. So I already don't like taking medication anyway. I don't like taking pills. Pills easily get stuck in my throat no matter how big or small they are. So I'm already looking at it like, nah, bro. So y'all, it's just a lot for me. And I just would rather not, like, like my period makes me want to just quit life. Like, I'm serious. Like, when it's my worst days, I really do be like, can I just give up on life today? Like, it was really too much out here in these streets. I'm tired. It kills my lower back. Like, it really be killing me. Like, that's a lot of times, like, for me, how I know it's about to come on. My lower back starts hurting worse than it normally does. I already got something pulled on one side of my lower back. And then on the other side of my back, a little bit higher than that, something is pulled. So outside of that, when my period is about to come on, and when it is on, there's a whole feeling on the whole bottom part of my back that's happening. And it's like, oh my gosh. I already got to deal with this, and I got to deal with the cramping, and I got to deal with all the tampons that I got to buy. And it just makes me drained thinking about it, y'all. I'm tired. It makes me mad because I've always looked into alternatives for tampons and all that, but the Diva Cup, all the things that are remotely close to that would never work for me because so much comes out of me and that clotting, all that stuff happens. I have a fear that it's going to turn over, even if it's a day that is not that heavy of a flow. I feel like it would turn over somehow and spill out. And then it's like, it's too much of a hassle for me. I have to be at work. I'm not going to be, the way that the bathrooms are at my job is nothing personal. There's no personal type of environment where you can just be like, oh, let me, straddle this stool, pour this blood out into the stool, let me go while my pants are down and open the stall door, go over to the sink, rinse the cup out, and put it back up into me where I'm already bloody. My hands are gonna be bloody. I'm not gonna be able to, like, I don't understand how other people do it. Cause my hands are gonna be bloody by the time I'm done trying to even put it back up into position. Like, it's just too much that goes into it for me. And I know it wouldn't work for me because I flow too heavy. Like, you ain't supposed to really have but a certain amount that come out of you on average. But I already know way too much come out of me. I normally buy the 40 count tampons. I use Super Plus and Ultra. So yeah, I usually go through at least 40 to 60 at worst. So yeah, I don't be having time. That ain't gonna work for me. And I mean, of course, as it gets closer to the end, it's not completely filled up, but still most of them are completely filled and then some. And that's not including when I have those moments where I'm super duper heavy flowing and clots coming out and I'm wiping. Here's this blood, here's all this blood, here's all this crap. It has completely drenched my piece of tissue that's in my hand. Throw that in the toilet. Here we go with another one. Oh my gosh. It takes me 10 minutes to get a reasonable amount of a flow going to where I can put a tampon in and not fear that it's going to overfill and fill up super duper fast. And I gotta come right back to the bathroom, y'all. It's just too much. I welcome menopause. I welcome you. Please hurry up and visit me. Neil, I don't care if I get a hot flash. I know with my mama, she had hot flashes really, really bad. But I feel like that's not going to be my testimony. I kind of feel like my anemia is going to level out. And I'll be normal. I'll feel normal as far as that's concerned. I feel like I might have a little bit of a hot flash, but not the level that my mama had. We used to have ice bags on deck, AC blowing right in her face, fans blowing right on her, all the fans on, all the air conditioners on, blowing on her, and sometimes whole bags of ice on her body, trying to cool her off. I was scared she was gonna pass out and die because I was like, how is she so hot? Lord, I understand summertime, but she would be so hot. I'm like, how? Like, she would be feeling like a fire. Like, I would touch her, she felt like a fire. And I was just like, how is this? But I think her blood type has a lot to do with it as well. This other person that I know who went through a lot of the stuff that I went through with her menstrual cycle, she has my mother's blood type. And they burn up. And I'm just like, everybody else is freezing. Especially me, the anemic one in the bunch. But you over here burning up, dying, sweating, turning red. And I'm like, how? Y'all. So, my plans to kind of level it out a little bit more is to try to stay consistent with the iron pills. And, you know, I actually have heard about some other things that I could take and just, you know, try that out so I can avoid surgery, because I don't want surgery. I don't want them to have to remove my uterus and remove everything. And I mean, there have been times that I have been desperate enough where I was like, look, I'm this close to going to somebody's hospital saying, take all this out of me. But at the time when I said that, I wasn't at the age where, I mean, well, I think they can't say nothing now, but back then when I did that was like my early 20s. And I never had kids. I never had a miscarriage. Never had been pregnant ever in my life. Still haven't been. And they wouldn't have done it unless there was an emergency and a need for it. So, I mean, outside of me saying, oh, I'm in terrible pain, please take this out, they wasn't going to do it. We'd already discussed that before. And I was just like, well, maybe they'll just do it anyway because they want some money. But they were just like, nah. Anyway, y'all, I'm sorry for those that I've bored to death with my pain and my draining story. Like, it really is. Y'all, if you don't have a heavy menstrual cycle, you will never understand. You will never understand. because it makes me want to be done with life sometimes, like that's how bad it is. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for those that have subscribed and have been sticking with me. I have more things to come. I hope to see y'all later.